So someone just commented a single push seems odd. When you're looking at a deck like this isn't a single push. This is a 5th removal spell. So it's not a random one of fatal push. It is a 5th piece of spot removal that costs 1 mana. And I think that's a mistake a lot of players make. They don't correctly identify like cards that are supposed to be grouped together. They kind of look at their deck as like disjoint pieces as opposed to like these cards have synergy or are the same type of effect, etc. All right. Now YouTube has to watch me get cards here because I wanted to record that short comment. So just a moment, we'll be on our way with some Esper Zur here. And then shoot, we got dumpstered so much that unless this is a 2-hour league, we might fit a 6th deck in today before we get to Overwatch time. So, Spreading Seas isn't intended to screw your opponent off of colors. Spreading Seas is a cantrip that answers utility lands. Am I using a service to rank cards? I am not. So MTGO Traders is one of my sponsors for the stream. They buy and sell Magic Online cards, and one of the special things that they do for me since I play so many decks and I stream here on Twitch is they allow me to borrow cards. It does enable Island Walk. Fun fact. Did you know when Blood Moon was originally designed, the thing it was designed to do was enable Mountain Walk? That was the original intention of Blood Moon as a Magic card. It was supposed to be there to enable Mountain Walk. And instead, it does what it does today. Choke was very obviously meant to stop blue mana. And to be fair, like, I don't really fault them, right? Like, Magic was very different way back when. Like, it was when in 1995 we didn't have good game design principles like we have today. We didn't have the vat of non-basic land that we have today. So again, it's just like one of those just kind of stains on Magic's history that we live with. All right, Esper Zur. You are the chosen one. I feel like you are the one that is finally going to cash this league with modern staples like Master of the Feast and History of Benalia and Athreos, God of Passage. With all of these at our side, we shall finally cash a league today. Or we'll die in a blaze yet again. One of the two. Alright, I think I'm actually going to play Godless Shrine tapped on 1 here. I think I want to favor preserving my health total. And I'm not really going to have a 2-drop to play, most likely. Athreos was great and sealed. If we scrub this, can we play a good deck to feel better? I mean, does Meme Monday really run out? I guess it's Tuesday somewhere, right? Oh no! Time to Thoughtseize the burn deck. Time to Thoughtseize the burn deck. Alright, well, we were never beating this Eidolon, so I guess we get to take that away. Saffron Olive, drop it in with the brand new Twitch Prime support. What's going on, bud? Hope you're having a good Monday. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. That's true. We do have a bunch of Rams in the board. We do have a bunch of Rams in the board. That being said, Monastery Siege is like kind of okay here. Alright, so we get to fetch mid Goblin Guide triggers here as well, which is nice. So hopefully we can find a third land, because we're very dead if we don't. Oh no, Temple of Tilt. So we get to drop this. This is probably not a playable card in this matchup. Definitely getting an extra blue. I think we just get History of Benalia here and get some 2/2s to block. We're probably very dead. He slid into your subs to play Overwatch. Overwatch is a good time, to be fair. Master of the Feast isn't a playable card in any match. Listen, this is a 5/5. It's like, you know, smaller than Tarmogoyf for a Death Shadow. To set the bar low, this probably won't be the worst Hallowed Fountain deck I'll play this week. He's dead, Jim. All right. All right. Let's load up the Nyx-Fleece Rams. Got some Nyx-Fleece Rams and a Fatal Push. We're going to trim the Master of Feast that give my opponent an endless stream of cards to kill us with. And we're going to trim these Rest in Pieces. I don't think Ghostly Prison's good enough here. I think that's all we got. We'll see if Nyx-Fleece Ram is fast enough here. Like, 1 point of health on turn 3 is, like, really slow. Maybe if we have a removal spell on 1 into Ram on 2, we could be okay. Making my opponents draw cards is like it's like the inverse of drawing cards. I think Thoughtseize is fine. It's not good, but it's definitely passable. Alright, chat. My hopes on... Can this finally be the one that we use to cash a league with today are slowly fading. Slowly fading. Do we Thoughtseize on 1? I think so. Thoughtseize on 1 lets us know if the Spreading Seas is good on 2. I have so many creatures. I think we take Taylor here. How do we feel about taking Taylor? I guess Goblin Guide means we take less damage because Taylor only hits us for 1. Yeah, I guess we just take Goblin Guide. I mean, to be fair, that Goblin Guide was probably going to deal at least 4 points of damage to us. Although now they don't have to spend a mana to do that. So, like, there's that side of the coin as well. Alright, chat. In the event that this deck goes south, I would like... If you would like to maybe have some say over what we play next, you should dive into the queue and look for what else could qualify for me Monday. Alright, I'm going to play this tapped. I'm going to Fatal Push this Goblin Guide, and then we can Thoughtseize plus Spreading Seas next turn, or Thoughtseize plus Brain Maggot, potentially. Oh, we did have someone... Actually, I'm a liar. I think I already know what we're doing. There's another Necrotic Ooze combo deck in the queue that somebody else bumped up. So if this also dies in a blaze, we'll probably play that. Joe, Jeff, how's it going? What's going on, James? Thank you for the 5 months and welcome back. There is a Mardu possibility Stormlist in there. I forgot about that one. That's a pretty good hit. I'm going to take their Helix here. Now, I'm going to take the Skullcrack because I would like to encourage them to fetch white. So that way I can, I want to encourage them to fetch white so I can Spreading Seize them off of it. Grizzle Oozolution is something we already played today. Yeah, the Necrotic Ooze deck is probably what we'll play. There's a different Necrotic Ooze deck that we didn't play yet today. Find it pretty funny now when I see streamers having a bad time or even Hearthstone big names that are so far behind to keep playing. You're not wrong, Dan. And I don't know, like there's definitely a market like when I was getting into Hearthstone, I was watching a lot of different Hearthstone streamers, and there's one whose name is Cryptarian, I think it is, who apparently his streaming bit is he's salty on stream, and that's his bit. Like that's his thing, is that like he's salty. But I guess, different strokes for different folks. Nope, none of these. It's messed up because it's not a bit. What's my bit? Being obnoxious. My bit is a well-moderated chat. All I know is one of the nights that I watched him stream, the only thing he said during like an hour and a half that I watched him was complaining that he felt his opponent had stream sniped him. Which was interesting. He was basically silent the entire time and then complained that his opponent stream sniped him. Old Blu-ray, thank you for the brand new Twitch Prime support there. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month. All right, there's Solemnity. There's Fatal Push. Okay, so we get to go ahead and push this Grim Boy off a cliff, which does mean we're going to be dead to any 3 damage spell here, because they're going to get to activate Grim Lavamancer in response to this. How does Solemnity work with History? I don't actually know the answer to that question. I think you get a 2/2 Knight every turn, right? 2/2 Knight every turn sounds right. I don't actually know for sure. I'm attacking with this because if they have a spell to trigger Prowess, we're dead. Oh, you don't get anything else. Oh, you placing the counter. Okay. We're dead. And we're dead. Okie doke. Alright. Alrighty. So, I always have mixed feelings on days like this because, on one side of the coin, it feels kind of bad to get dumpstered, but, on the other side of the coin, we're averaging, a league an hour while getting dumpstered today, and as someone who gets paid based on the number of leagues he plays, that's kind of upside for me. So I'm down Moto Bucks, but my queue is getting worked through very quickly today. I've been at a crossroads with Magic a bit lately, whether or not to go hard and try and grind events. I've come to the realization that competitive Magic is obviously terrible money, so it's hard to justify grinding, especially with family. Thoughts on Magic versus a consistent job? Wandering Wind, thank you for the Twitch Prime resubscription. Thank you very much, and welcome back. If you are an adult who has responsibilities in a family, especially a family that depends on you, if the amount of money it costs you to travel to play Magic events isn't an amount of money that you could take and put in a pile and set fire to with a match, then you shouldn't be spending that amount of money traveling to play Magic. You should never go to a Magic tournament expecting to even break even. You should go to every Magic tournament because you enjoy playing Magic as a game, and you're expecting to spend money and in return get enjoyment from playing Magic. And if you don't enjoy the Magic you're playing for the money you're spending, you shouldn't play it. You shouldn't play it. As someone who traveled to play, 30 weekends of sanctioned Magic a year for 3 years running, I did it because I like traveling. I had a good time traveling around with Matt, my buddies, and then when the traveling got old, we stopped traveling. And I did it not because we were making money, because we certainly weren't making money. In fact, I was one of the people I was considered fortunate that my Magic travel broke even every year. The fact that I didn't lose money playing Magic and traveling to play Magic, that was considered a win. There are a lot of people who lose a considerable amount of money traveling to play Magic every year. And I was happy to not be in that category. All right, so what do we got here? We get to... I guess I'm taking a Lord. Yes, it's like going into a casino. Don't gamble with time and money that you expect to lose. The part that's different from a casino, and this is the part that's harder for some people to kind of grasp, I think, is that with the casino, the majority of what you're spending is in the actual gambling. Whereas with Magic, a lot of the cost with associated with traveling to play Magic is actually getting there. The Voice of Resurgence paid for your honeymoon. Knight of the Reliquary paid for my wedding reception. But I didn't go to those tournaments that I did really well at with Knight of the Reliquary expecting to do well with Knight of the Reliquary. I spent the, $200, $300, $400 that it costs to travel to play Magic for a weekend, expecting this is my fun money for my hobby, a hobby which I enjoy playing. So, I'm okay not having this money at the end of the weekend. That's awesome, Maxwell. Yeah, enjoying Ideal is sweet. We played that a few times on stream before. It's a lot of fun. Are we sure there's Zurs in the deck? There are actually only 3 Zurs in the deck. Magic tournaments are not designed to create winners. Magic tournaments are designed to create 1,000 losers and 1 winner. If I hadn't prize split with my quarterfinals opponent in Indianapolis, I would have broken even after going 13-0 in the Swiss and then losing in the quarterfinals. Because a $500 check minus taxes just about covers a $300 Magic weekend. That's the realization about it. Modern staple Cloudform here. It's gonna trade for a Curse Catcher next turn. So money-wise, it's way better to build a following streaming, grind that way. I mean, this is enough to be considered a job for me. And I'm very lucky to be able to do that. You also should not go into streaming if you're going to stream with the idea that streaming is going to become your job. I am very much aware that I am very lucky, and I am the exception to the rule of this was able to become my job. That is not the norm. Most people at stream do it for the same reason that I've traveled to play Magic for so long, is because I love doing it. Like, I streamed part-time for years before this ever came close to being able to be considered a job for me. Well, we're not quite dead yet. They have no cards in hand. So if they break off for a turn or two here, the Zur could get going and possibly pull us back into the game. I think blue-black mill could pop in a tournament. Definitely smaller tournaments. And I mean, this is modern. Any deck can do. You play well, you run well, you can do well. Expect your hobby to be a hobby and you'll be happy. Exactly. Completely agree, Lefty. Don't expect your hobby to be a job, you'll be happier. Yeah, I think if we get to trigger Zur, I think we need them to brick this turn and next turn. But if that happens, Zur could pull us back into the game. If we hit a path or a fatal push here, that could also be very good for us. I'm gonna grab a Godless Shrine here. And also, and I'm not sure if this is something people are aware of, but Path to Exile is a great draw. People are hopefully aware that Path to Exile is a great draw. And I definitely don't have to do this, but like, you know, pouring my heart and soul into what I do here. Since I started streaming full-time, I've been working, I don't know, 50, 60, sometimes even 70 hours a week putting together everything that I put together that's stream-related. And I'm not complaining about that. I enjoy what I do, and I'm glad to be able to do it. But I'm just, like, stating as a fact that, like, that's how much time and work I'm putting into this. Oh, I'm not going to be able to kill the Lord. Yeah, you're super right. You're super right. I was talking and reading chat, and I definitely... Oh, we're dead anyways. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's going to come in and diddle our thing. Not even gonna show him path. Maybe we weren't dead for quite another turn. Yeah, maybe if I path first, they could flash this in, tap this, and then I could chump block and go to 2, but then I give them a Lord back. Like, what was the top of our deck gonna be here? Unlife? Gosh, we were gonna lock them out. Alright, so if I would have pathed first and they bricked next turn, I would have been able to get Unlife Solemnity going. Alright, so Ghostly Prison, great. Settle, great. Fatal Push, great. Worth noting here that there's some anti-synergy between Settle the Wreckage and Ghostly Prison in this deck, because, like, we want both of these cards against aggressive decks, but at the same time, Settle the Wreckage gives them more lands to play through Ghostly Prison, which feels weird to me. I believe it or not, I agree with Saffron. I just don't think this card is very good. Giving your opponent's cards is really bad. This is probably an okay Nyx-Fleece Ram matchup. Yeah, I'm gonna leave a couple Thoughtseizes in rather than Brain Maggot. Keep my curve a little bit lower. Just had a sub there. Ivan J, thank you for the 6-month resubscription there. I appreciate it. I'll stand up for a little bit. I've been sitting for a while. Oh. This hand doesn't really accomplish anything, right? Feel like my average 6 is probably better. Look at that. We've got our namesake. How could it possibly be better than this? My wife is home. There's going to be a moment of children here. If they are exceptionally loud, I will mute myself, but Declan will probably want to say hi to the stream when he comes in. It's a good one to have on top. And she also brought dinner, which is great. Been going for 5 hours here. I'm hungry, chat. I'm a fat, hungry boy. But decided what our next deck's going to be. Yeah, if we end up playing another deck after this, it's going to be the other Ooze deck. Random question about the Elves sideboard guide. Been working with the deck a lot, and I've been struggling with KCI. Do you think something like Revoker could be a hate that you get off company, or lead could be an okay sideboard slot? Yeah, if you're explicitly looking for something to hate on KCI, Revoker seems fine. It's also a card that, like, can be reasonable against, what's it called? Against Tron. Is this the worst deck we've played? This probably isn't even the worst deck we've played today, to be fair. Land. Our lack of specificity will be my downfall, chat. Quite literally the Temple of Tilt. Hello, boys.
No,
the other one's asleep. Didn't he nap at school?
No, he did not. He also went to bed an hour late last night and woke up an hour early.
In for land 4.
I'm getting your bread. Hold on.
You're gonna get your bread, dude. You wanna come say hi to the stream? Yeah. Mom's gonna bring your bread in, don't worry. You come say hi? Daddy. Yeah. Daddy. Yeah. You like visiting Dad while he works? Yeah. Why does this deck play Scrylands? I can only assume we play Scrylands to tilt me. I assume Scrylands are here so I can be tilted. You want the cards?
What card?
You want the magic cards?
What?
What do you see? You want this? You want this?
Yeah.
Okay. You're a weird dude. Meme Monday gives us an excuse to sort through the more strange ones in the queue. Gotta make sure to have a deck full of Scrylands when submitting. I'm fine, Omnifect. As a reminder, you can always find my schedule on my website. I will also be off Wednesday this week because there's Moto downtime on Wednesday for 9 hours for whatever ungodly reason. Alright, chat. I need to help my wife for 30 seconds. I'll be right back. She went grocery shopping too, apparently. We now resume our regularly scheduled dumpstering. Must be to implement that new sweet postmodern format. You brought me dinner, Declan. Can you say hi to the internet, tiny monster?
No, he's really crabby.
He's really crabby. So I'm not going to block here. The risk to reward just isn't good enough. They could put in Double Lord and make us really sad.
Can you help me figure out which of these suits?
I'm so tilted right now. I don't know who's more tilted, me or Declan, because he had to wake up from his nap. I thought we were, like, finally gonna, like, do our thing. And, like, that's how I feel too, Declan. They just Merfolk trickstered us.
Can I carry you?
The worst part is, they did this by casting it, which means they probably have more things in their hand. They missed a land drop too here, which means their hand is like all spells. I didn't sphere the vials because we were very far behind on board average, Toaster. If we could have sphered the vials on turn 3 on the play instead of having a temple that came into play tapped, that might have been good enough. But once they were that far deployed onto the board, we had to spend our resources interacting with their cards that were actually killing us. Alright. Alright. I'm trying to make Ponza work, but it feels like a bad deck. I'm not a big fan of Ponza in general. Ponza just doesn't have enough cards that interact with the board, so like, once your opponent's able to actually deploy something through your stone range, you usually just die. I don't think Ponza is very good. I've never felt good when I played with it, and when I play against it, it basically only gets me when I'm playing mid-range decks. My wife brought me soup and a half sandwich from Panera Bread. This stream is in no way sponsored or endorsed by Panera Bread, but Panera, if you're out there, it certainly could be. Talk to me. Work with me. We can make something happen. Man. We're... Scale of like 1 to dead here. The Soulscar Mages were very good in the Tempo deck last night. If you're a fan of the blue-red Tempo archetype and you haven't watched our league from last night, you're going to make sure you watch that after we're done streaming tonight. It's very good. It's up on my YouTube channel now. Both the Tempo decks we played last night had Soulscar Mage in it, but it was more impressive in the second one that was closer to my original list. I guess we're pathing Scavenging Ooze here. So they played land, they played Skoos. I assume they're going to play like third land, Skoos, eat the Strangleroot Geist, play Avatar of the Resolute. We'll path the Skoos in response, then maybe History of Benalia plus Cloudform can let us stabilize this game. One of the things that I think Oh, they have a Vines of the Vastwood. I'm such a big stupid. I guess this means they can't play another threat out this turn, but... So one of the things that I think this deck really exemplifies when like brewing in Modern is that there are... I think one of the biggest mistakes people make when brewing new deck ideas or around something like a card Zur is that they basically put too many cute and bad cards in their deck. So like, Zur is probably a fine card to build around if you put it in a deck with a bunch of other cards that happen to be Modern staples. Oh, excuse me, sorry, I missed my mute there. That being said, this isn't a Modern staple. This could debatably be a Modern staple, but probably not. Brain Maggot, not a Modern staple. Master of the Feast, not a Modern staple. Athreos, not a Modern staple. You want to, when you're working on a neat idea around a new build-around card, you want to just surround it with other genuinely good Magic cards, so that way, when you don't have your namesake, your Zur, your deck still has a cohesive, functional game plan. And basically, that's like what we're seeing in these games, game in and game out. Like, our deck's just like a bunch of weak, disjointed cards that don't do anything. And the reason that is because they're just weak, disjointed cards that aren't good Modern. So, yeah, you basically like Esper mid-ranger. You want to put a bunch of good Esper cards together in a deck that just happens to play Zur with a small selection of good Modern playable enchantments. I would like to block this. Yeah, basically Brick House. And like even a main deck Rest in Peace is probably fine. This deck I think was just like a good example of like it's basically been a slave to its theme. It's basically like gone, all right, what's the most adorable thing we can do? Let's do that. To a degree that like you like have a bunch of cards that just, like I said, they're just like not Modern playable cards individually, so our deck is individually very weak. Yeah, I think History is probably good enough. Spreading Seas is like maybe passable, but like once we get past those, we just kind of devolve into like we're playing these cards just to like be a slave to the enchantment theme. And like you don't need that many cards to make a card like Zur good. Like, just a handful of cards. Like, you're not going to get 60 triggers with this card every game. Like, you want to ideally be winning with, like, one or two activations. Just, like, having key bullets to put in to find with those is ideal. I have a spoon already. Thank you, though. I love you. I remembered to sneak one. Justin Mack, thank you for the 29-month resubscription. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Flexosaurus with the brand new sub. Thank you and welcome. I know there's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch. Thanks for supporting mine this month. Yeah, that's actually a great way to phrase it, Code 14. It should be a Zur package, not a Zur deck. And honestly, like, accepting decks like this that even at a glance I think might be a miss, there's value in failing. Dakyo with the 5-month resubscription there. I turned my sound up much higher than normal and you still sound a tad low. That's weird. My volume is the same as always. And Sarq, thank you for the 10-month resubscription. 10 out of 10 would sub again. Yeah, so and I think that's something we've missed not only as Magic players, but kind of as a society. Like, people miss the value in failing. They miss the, it's okay to have messed up, because if you've never messed up, if you've never failed, it probably means you've never really tried, is what it comes down to. I think I'm just gonna spread them here. A lot of their blue cards are double green, or a lot of their blue cards, their 2-drops are double green, so taking them off the Forester means they probably can't cast a 2-drop next turn. You know, when you see people building new decks a lot. You don't see a lot of the ones that end up on the cutting room floor, right? We see you remember people for the successes. It's easy to forget like they probably failed a bunch on the way. So I'm going to go ahead and take their other protection spell here since I have double Fatal Push, just like kill through their threats here. Opponent did mulligan to 5 this game too, so probably going to be a runaway for us. Happy to help Dows. Scavangling Ooze, sure. We really love a white source. We know. First time viewer fixing up my Prime sub and will sub soon, but a long time YouTube viewer, Hoaglandia. Well, welcome, Cobalt. Welcome to a live one, and thanks for setting up the Prime stuff. I appreciate that support. Those Bezo bucks turn into real dollars in my pocket that pay my mortgage and other stuff. Is there anything more Hoagland-esque than being like, I'd really like to draw my first white source and like, bam, draw a double colored spell we can't cast? Warcraft Nerdy with the 6-month free subscription. Thank you very much and welcome back. I do appreciate that. For those of you that are fans of actual video games, tonight after I'm done streaming Magic, so about an hour and a half from now or so when the kids go to bed, Christy and I are going to stream some Overwatch on her channel. Then I'm going to host her channel in Raid, so if you'd like to hang out while we do that, you're definitely welcome to. Fair warning, we're very bad. We have a lot of fun, though. It's like Magic. I don't play Magic to be competitive anymore. I definitely don't play Overwatch to be competitive. Hoagland 76. I've actually been playing a lot of Brigette. I think my true calling in Overwatch is characters that don't have to aim. Wallabane, thank you for the 2-month free subscription. I appreciate that and welcome back. Christy plays Bastion and Orisa usually, and I play Brigette or Mercy. I also play Reinhardt sometimes too. Brigette's like a combination of Mercy and Reinhardt. Alright, I think my soup is finally cool enough to eat. They have corn chowder soup over the summer at Panera, which is great. I'm like, this is just like a 4-4, and I literally just can't attack into it now. If I were to recommend another card game between Warhammer and Artifact, which would it be? I haven't actually played Artifact, so Artifact doesn't go into public beta until, I think it's supposed to be in public beta sometime in October. But I played the Warhammer card game, and I know the Warhammer card game is great. And the Warhammer card game is releasing on tablet first for digital, which is awesome. Whereas Artifact is going to release on PC and not going to be on tablet until sometime next year. So, Artifact doesn't release on the desktop till the end of November. Settle the self-ramp, stop it. Ooh, that's pretty good. So, they can't actually regenerate their troll here, so I'm going to go ahead and shove with my 4/3s. Sing my baby a lullaby so he stops crying. You know, the internet is really good at playing songs. She's like the resto of Overwatch. I actually really like Brigette. Brigette's my favorite, I think. She's like a multi-purpose character. Gets to be a little aggressive, gets to be utility as well. Jack of all trades, etc. The Tron song is not something you should sing to children while they sleep. You want them to grow up to be a decent person. What else did I get from Panera? I got soup and a Mediterranean veggie sandwich and a bag of chips for later. Oh, this was a free block, right? Yeah, I clicked through that free block. Tilt. Chef Carrot, thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome. If you're someone who can't normally watch during my daytime streaming, I'm going to be doing another evening stream on Friday to make up for the fact that I can't stream during the day on... can't stream during the day on Wednesday this week because Moto has downtime. Pizza H, thanks for checking out, honey. I appreciate the support that way. Geoff Hoagland with the $5 donation. You believed I was dead, silly human. I will smork, 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 and smork some more. I have to check the PayPal address on that one. Track that goblin down. This is a concession attack, right? The get wreckaged. I've been watching you for a while and just got the go ahead from you to add Marduk cars to the queue. I'll send you some bits or PayPal via the link you sent over via email. Perfect. Sounds good, Chef Carrot. All right. Well, if they stumble and bumble again here, we might finally be able to get on the scoreboard. All right, discard spell, Path to Exile, Ghostly Prison. Path plus Ghostly Prison, kind of a non-bow as well. Worth mentioning, I think. I think I'm going to shock and Godless Shrine on one here, because shocking and Godless Shrine means I can go Path plus tapped Hallowed Fountain next turn. All right, I think we actually ignore Steel Leaf Champion for the time being because we can Spreading Seize them off of casting it till they have 4 lands. How did Traxos do? Very poorly in Onyx. It was super clunky for us. It won us our first match of today, but we've only won one match in like 5 leagues. Hef Jogland with the $5 donation. Help me, Geoff found me. Found where I'm at and is threatening to take his goblin rage out on me. Yes. Yeah, Chef Carrot. It's a $10 donation. Or 1,000 bits. Yep, 1 bit is 1 penny. So basically the quick way to figure out how many bits are a dollar is one... You just divide 2 zeros off the end. So definitely need to Spreading Seize here to try and keep them off of playing Steel Leaf Champion this turn. Oh, we did beat 8-Rack with the Howling Mine deck. You're right. You're right. We've won 2 entire matches today. Twice as many as I thought. Yeah, definitely, Anna. I probably won't get to it look at it till tomorrow night, though, because we're going to play some Overwatch tonight after Magic is done, and then I'm back at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. As bits or PayPal, I prefer bits. Bits has more security for me as a streamer. The actual answer is whichever is more convenient for you. My golden rule is don't be picky about how people want to send you money if they're sending you money. It's a good rule to live by. Alright, what do you got? Save Steel Leaf and X. Alright. We get to Path, the Scavenging. Oh, we're just dead, right? We're just dead. That was terrible. Alright. So I mentioned earlier, days like today are kind of win-win for me. Either we make a lot of our money back from doing well in leagues, or, you know, we scrub a bunch of leagues and I get to plow through the queue really quickly. Like, we've been streaming for less than 6 hours and I've played 5 decks today. We touched on this during the last match, but I just want to iterate it again for the wrap-up segment at the end of the video. For those of you who are not familiar, all my stuff gets posted to YouTube, and I always do a wrap-up segment at the end with kind of specific feedback on what we played. The biggest issue with this deck is that it is a Zur the Enchanter deck, and not a deck that's playing Zur the Enchanter. So while that may sound kind of like a weird definition or middle ground, what I mean by that is this is a deck that has made a lot of card choices based explicitly on the fact that we have Zur the Enchanter in the deck. I think a better way to construct a brew around a specific card like this is to slot a small Zur package of reasonable modern cards into a shell of reasonable cards. So play more Fatal Pushes, play more Path to Exiles, play Collective Brutalities, play maybe Sweepers or Liliana the Veils. Don't put a bunch of cards like Cloudform and Athreos and Master of the Feast and, you know, Brain Maggot. Don't put a bunch of cards that aren't on their own modern playable into your Magic deck, because what that does is when you don't draw your key card that you've built your deck around, and we don't have any card selection here to find, so there's only 3 of them to begin with, your deck is just going to be this disjointed mess of cards that aren't really playable because we're hoping to make them playable by drawing our payoff. So instead of playing a bunch of weak cards and hoping to make them playable with a payoff, instead play a bunch of reasonable cards and just use Zur to amass some small amounts of card advantage or removal or utility, etc. I think is a much better way to approach building a deck like this. Hey Jeff, VOD watcher, glad I could catch you live. I'm pretty new to Magic. I was wondering if there was any content to be helpful for what makes cards good, etc. I'm confused by the concept of good or bad overall. So, one of the things that makes Magic such a complex and interesting game, Flexosaurus, is that there really aren't like textbook definitions. This is always good and this is always bad, which makes it tough as a new player to get a full grasp on everything. What I always say is the power level of cards is what I would refer to as format contextual. And what I mean by that is a card that's very good in Standard, for instance, could be very bad in Modern or Legacy, and vice versa. Stormbreath Dragon is always good. Don't lie to people. Chris, thank you for the 27 months. That's true. I've played Stormbreath Dragon in Modern and Legacy. Does it hold up in Vintage? Can we play Stormbreath in Vintage? I don't know if that's the case. All right. So my plan was to go till at least 8:30. We've played a Zur deck before. Yep. Long time ago. Like back in the metery days. Apple Tunes with the $5 donation. Please help. Geoff is threatening to make me play Lantern. The only cure is Naya Landfall. Landfall is great. Landfall is great. Alrighty. So what are we